Hey guys, I'm Dave.
And I'm Len.
And welcome to Wargame Chat. Today we're going to talk about AirCon. It's a tiny little convention that used to take place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I mean, normally it's more like a party than a convention. I mean, normally there's like 6 people playing. I think this time, what was there, about 13 people, which is like the most... you said you've seen it, AirCon. I've only been to AirCon twice. You've been to it, what, a half dozen times?
Yeah, at least 4 or 5 times. I didn't go last year because I was all confused about whether or not it was on, and I wasn't feeling like driving up to Milwaukee. And I found out that one guy showed up with his son and had to call up Pete and wake him up.
Well, that happened the first time I went to AirCon. He was late. I think he was an hour late to his own convention. But yeah, it's actually a fun con. I think this time we played a midway game, which was put on by someone in HMGS, Steve Fratt. Him and Daryl Hartzig are making a midway game that they're going to publish. It's a miniatures game. We played it where we were attacking the ships and stuff. It was just basically the combat version of it. And yeah, it was fun to play and stuff. I think I destroyed 1 or 2 Japanese flat tops in it.
Yeah, I was commanding one carrier division. I had the Akagi and the Kaga. I fought off many waves of attacks until finally I'm just running out of planes and his dive bombers appear. Yeah, none of this flight that goes nowhere. They all showed up. So that they were all 4 of them were on fire when it ended.
I think they're going to be publishing that within the next year and stuff, because remember they took our names so they could put us in the playtester section of the rule book.
So, and then we had the game with Snoop. Again, I was against. It
was an air combat game, World War I, and one of the characters was Snoopy riding a doghouse, the flying doghouse. I don't know if you remember that from Peanuts, but I played Snoopy. That was okay. It was like similar to Wings of War. It's got the cards and stuff, except you have altitudes and stuff. And if I recall correctly, Wings of War either doesn't have altitudes or it's not done much. It's one of the two. But I mean, this one you had the actual planes on sticks where you move them up and down depending on the altitude and stuff. But the card play, since I hadn't read the rules, I was just... they were teaching me how to play. There's a few parts... Where I was unsure of, so I was just kind of watching to see how everyone else did it, you know what I mean? But I think if I was to read the rules for that, it would be much better. Yeah,
he's never exactly shown the rules to anybody, so we kind of play along, hoping to do what is right. Because one thing that was bothering me was that I'm flying Fokker triplanes, one of the most maneuverable aircraft in the war. I'm doing these long turning arcs, and his spit sopwith camels were turning inside of me. Yeah, and I'm looking at the cards. Okay, what's the one for hard turn? Where's the one for like a steep climb or a shallow climb? And I'm not understanding the system. So, but luckily the Red Baron shut down Snoopy. So cool.
Yeah, Snoopy actually did some damage to the Red Baron before he did that. He got a burst in on him and did a bunch of damage. I think it takes 12 points of damage for a plane to be shot down. Snoopy actually did like 7 or 8 points of damage, so he almost got him on that burst. But then the Red Baron, whatever plane he was in, seemed more maneuverable, and it got behind Snoopy, and that was the end of Snoopy then.
Well, I'm thinking you got 8 hit points out of 12. He should be affecting his performance. He has a system where you pick cards, and otherwise, sometimes you just get a few hit points. Other times, I had one where the thing was smoking.
Glad you mentioned that, because another reason why Snoopy got shot down is after he did his burst, I think he did another burst later, and his guns jammed.
Yeah.
And Snoopy would have to pick 2 cards out of the deck on 2 different turns in order to unjam, so it's really hard to unjam. Once you jam in that game, if it's like a major jam, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, because actually unjamming while you're flying and people flying around you, it takes a few minutes, but in air combat you don't have that few minutes. So.
Well, most of those planes in World War One, I think had two machine guns. And I think for that reason, if one jammed, you still had one usable one. But I think the scariest thing in World War One is if you have to reload those damn things because you're trying to fly the plane and reload that at the same time. That can't be easy to do.
Yeah.
Especially if you got someone trying to get behind you.
Yeah, in the middle of whirling dogfight.
Yeah. And I mean, the drums they had on those looked like they were like, what, 50 or 100 round drums or something?
Yeah. And once you use up all this ammunition, I think it takes something like 5 minutes to reload. This is an SC5, where you had to go, you unscrew the top, take it off, pick up another one that you'd have in put it on, tighten it up. Of course, this is if you're flying straight and level with nobody around.
Right.
So, yes, and I think the belt-led fed ones also had their own problems, too. So.
Yeah, most of those pilots carried a pistol, too, and I think... I know before they had the machine guns on board the planes, they were shooting pistols at each other, but I'd imagine if both your guns jammed, that's all you had was a pistol. I mean, you'd at least try to use it if you were somehow to get the other plane on the side of you, which is unlikely.
Yeah. And 3 people were playing Buffalo Wings. This is an ATO magazine game. And they were doing a scenario where the Brewster Buffaloes are fighting against a Lag 3 on the Finnish front. And they told me the Lag 3 shot down one Buffalo and was working on the other one when the game ended. And when we left, they also were doing the round 2 of the Midway game, where they had the American carriers fighting off Japanese Japanese attacks.
One thing I want to mention is it wasn't in Milwaukee this time. This time it was in Libertyville, and it was at some bar. I can't remember the name of it, the Gastropub something or the other.
Yeah.
And it was a bar made for playing board games, so it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
They had food there and drinks and all that type of stuff, and it was just set up perfectly for like a tiny little convention like that where it's more like a party.
Yeah. And the staff seemed to like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we had one in Milwaukee that was almost like a same type of atmosphere, but the place was on the border of a questionable neighborhood. So, but this one I could see us returning.
Yeah. If they have it next year, I'll go to it. Especially if it's in Libertyville. I mean, that's closer to me than Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So
yeah,
I think I don't even think it took an hour to get there, like 50 minutes or something from my house, which isn't bad.
Well, it took me an hour, and it was strange that the first most of it was an easy drive. Then the last couple miles, I was in a traffic jam because I had to go past a mall, and it was bumper to bumper traffic. I mean, it was like it took me 30 minutes to that point, and then 20 minutes just to get past the mall. So it's maybe take a different route next time.
Yep.
Now that I know where the place is at.
I was just following my phone, so my phone took me on a bunch of streets that weren't even highways, just regular streets on the way there, but...
Yeah. So... But I hope it returns there for the next year.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope they still get at least 13 people again, because that's a lot better than when they were getting like 6 or 7.
That's right. And we didn't have to play Pete's balloon game. There's a joke about how in the afternoon or the evening one you could play the balloon game, which is a very strange, one of his very strange party games. I also bought a copy of his Chipmunk Wars.
That's cool.
So,
was that a board game or just a rule book?
It's a board game.
We'll bring it over here sometime. We'll try it.
Has yet to mail the missing pieces because this is a prototype.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as that comes, we'll start looking into that. So, Pete, if you're listening, send them in if you haven't already. If they're not lost in the mail. So,
not much stuff gets lost in the mail anymore. I mean, I sell a lot of stuff online, and I mean, I've had a few instances where it took like 3 weeks for someone to get something when it should only taken like 3 or 4 days. But now that there's little what do you call them, barcodes and stuff on the labels and stuff, it's really hard for something to get permanently lost. It might get missorted to the wrong place, but it will usually get back to you eventually. The problem with that is with eBay, if you send something and it takes 2 more weeks than what it was supposed to, eBay wants you to give them a refund. So that kind of sucks. So let's say it's been 2 weeks since it should have arrived. You got to give them a refund. Otherwise, eBay's going to give them force you to give them a refund, then give you a $30 fine for eBay having to step in to resolve it. So the problem with that is, let's say it's the 2 weeks after it's supposed to arrive, then a week later it does arrive. Well, you're screwed. The guy just got your merchandise for free since he's already been reimbursed.
yeah.
And I did have one guy where that happened to, and he actually sent me the payment then after it actually did arrive. So there are some honest people in this world, but I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't have.
Well, I had one order on Amazon that was like 2 days late. But to be fair, the day it was supposed to arrive, there was a big blizzard. So it was like, take your time. If you need an extra day or two, I'm no hurry. Mm-hmm. So
I found with Amazon, if you're getting stuff that's being shipped to you from the warehouse, you usually get it on time or within, or in extreme cases, maybe a day later or something. But if it's something where it's coming, because a lot of people, stuff sold on Amazon, not everything's owned by Amazon being sold on there. A lot of it's just regular people selling stuff. So if you're getting from one of them, they might send it to you through the post office or something. So in that case, there's a possibility it could be extremely late.
Yeah. So, okay.
Well, anyhow, that's all I got. You got anything?
That's it.
All right, have a good one, guys.